We will continue the story from the previous episode when Chen was on his way home. Suddenly, he was approached by the owner of Cambao Pharmacy who gave him a gift because of the rumors that said that Chen would get married soon. Arriving home, Chen also saw Boss Duan, who already looked neat and beautiful wearing a wedding dress, and Chen was very surprised at that time because of his ignorance about marriage. Then Chen asked Boss Duan, "Why is there a wedding all of a sudden? Why wasn't he told about this?" Boss Duan then answers him with a bit of overacting, pretending to be sad and crying because Chen doesn't want to marry her, and says, "Is Chen embarrassed to marry her? Because all this time, she feels that she has been very close to him, and why would he do this to her?" As we already know, Boss Duan or Xin Xin has often flirted with Chen, but he often avoided her. Chen finally agreed to marry Boss Duan because he felt guilty for making her sad and crying, but their wedding will not be held in the near future. After that, Boss Duan immediately told Chen to also try on the wedding clothes that she had prepared for Chen for their wedding later. Since the incident, the relationship between the two of them has become closer. Chen no longer avoids if she approaches him. Boss Duan also decided to loosen Chen's memory seal, but only slightly, and it was not enough to make Chen remember who he was before, but enough to make Chen feel that there was a change in him. As a result of the changes he felt, Chen then felt dizzy and then fainted. At the next scene, we then move to a time where Chen is testing the new power he has just awakened. It's called the power of heaven and earth, a legendary power. At first, Chen was not able to master the power, but he kept trying to try it over and over again with the theories he had heard and read about cultivators. In the end, Chen was able to use the power of heaven and earth and managed to destroy several trees around him. Boss Duan, who was observing Chen from behind the system, then said that the power used by Chen earlier was not the power of heaven and earth but Tao patterns. What is the difference between these two powers? I can't explain it yet, but one thing for sure is that when Boss Duan saw Chen, who was amazed at his own power, she just laughed at him, plus Chen simply concluded that the name of his power was the power of heaven and earth, without knowing that it was wrong. Shortly afterwards, Boss Duan gave Chen a mission to ascend to the immortal realm. Long story short, Chen then teleported to the immortal realm accompanied by the sword, the dog, the phoenix bird, and a storage ring. Chen teleported to a clan called Zhao Clan in the immortal realm. In this mission, Chen would disguise himself as a man named Zhao Xian, a dead cultivator. When Chen arrived at the immortal real, the real man named Zhao Xian was already dead. He died because he couldn't stand the pressure of life, or he died because of the stress he suffered. Zhao Xian was a genius who had been nominated to be the head of the clan in the future. But he had to suffer the stress of having his cultivator strength drop from a high-level immortal cultivator to a very low cultivator or Finshin level when he was about to be nominated as clan chief. This Finshin cultivator level is the same cultivator level Chen has now. However, it is not yet known what caused Zhao Xian's cultivator level to drop. When his cultivation level crashed, Zhao Xian was bullied by people around him who were actually jealous of his talent. Eventually, due to the bullying, Zhao Xian couldn't take it anymore, and he also had no one to turn to, considering his parents had also passed away. Zhao Xian then committed suicide because he couldn't stand the pressure of his life. Chen's mission was to realize Zhao Xian's dream of becoming the head of the Zhao clan. During his lifetime, Zhao Xian had wanted to become the clan head. Chen and Zhao Xian had very similar physical features, so the system thought Chen was the right person to carry out this mission. Chen was then ready to start his mission. He started it with storing Zhao Xian's real body in the storage ring. Moments later, some troublemakers, who liked to bully the real Zhao Xian because his cultivation had been destroyed, arrived. These troublemakers were led by a man named Zhao Mafan. Their coming to see Zhao Xian or Chen Pingon was to warn him not to go near Zhao Li. Who is Zhao Li? Zhao Li, who was being fussed over by these people, then came, and she asked the thugs not to torture Zhao Xian. It turned out that Zhao Li was Zhao Xian's friend since they were young. Although Zhao Li had tried to stop Zhao Mafan, he didn't care, and he asked his men to continue torturing Zhao Xian, and he would take care of Zhao Li. Interestingly, Zhao Xian or Chen came forward to protect Zhao Li, although there were some doubts in his head, considering he was in the immortal realm, which was different from the mortal world. The level of danger in the immortal realm would certainly be much more dangerous than in the mortal world. Chen had already made some calculations before going forward to protect Zhao Li. Firstly, he could rely on his dog, which was actually a dragon, whose strength was much stronger than that of an immortal. Secondly, Chen planned to catch Ma Fan off guard, then he would use his new power, the heaven and earth, to attack Ma Fan. To catch Ma Fan off guard, Chen then changed the subject of their conversation by saying that he had a legendary powerful artifact that had made him a genius before his cultivation was destroyed. Chen was willing to hand over the artifact to Ma Fan on the condition that Ma Fan stopped bothering him. Hearing the offer, Ma Fan agreed. Who wouldn't want to get a free artifact? Then Ma Fan approached Chen, hoping to get the good artifact offered by Chen. However, this was just a trick by Chen, because in fact he did not have the artifact he was talking about. As soon as Ma Fan approached, Chen immediately landed a punch that was so strong that it made Ma Fan faint. Some of Ma Fan's men also felt the effects of Chen Pinggan's heaven and earth power. Seeing Zhao Xian or Chen's actions, Zhao Li was shocked. She wondered if Zhao Xian's power had returned. Zhao Li then asked Zhao Xian or Chen about it. Chen then said that he got the power since he locked himself in his room alone, and in his solitude he dreamed of being visited by a legendary immortal who taught him this power. Chen said that this power was called Supreme Power. Zhao Li ended up believing Zhao Xian or Chen's alibi because she had never seen this kind of power, so she didn't know about the truth of Zhao Xian's words. When he came to the immortal realm, Chen didn't receive any info about Zhao Li and the Zhao family. The system only gave him Zhao Xian's identity, so he really didn't know what the conditions within the family were like, and he didn't even know who Miss Zhao Li was. Therefore, Chen then feigned memory loss, saying that he couldn't remember anything to Zhao Li because he had been in the dream world for too long. Chen then asked Zhao Li to tell him everything that had happened in the Zhao clan while he was still locked up in his room. Zhao Li then told him one very important thing that had happened in the Zhao clan. She told him that immortal Su Yi, or Su Ling's father, finally went to the divine world, or the world where the gods reside. This divine world was above the immortal realm level, the topmost level. Immortal Su Yi then handed over his position as immortal emperor to a man named Zhu Donglai, elder of Yunji sect, teacher of Lu Shui, who also obtained heavenly lo from boss Duan. It was for this reason that Su Yi gave up his position to Yu Donglai to become immortal emperor. Moreover, Su Yi and Yu Donglai were both in the same school under the same master, boss Duan. However, the Zhao family questioned Su Yi's decision to choose Yu Donglai because they had never heard of Yu Donglai's name before. Besides, there were 10 people around Su Yi who also had enough power to take the immortal emperor's place. Zhao Li could only give Chen this one important piece of information, because after that the Zhao clan chief called everyone together, which meant that Zhao Xian or Chen Pinggan also had to come to fulfill the call. When Chen came to the meeting, no one seemed to like Zhao Xian, including a green-haired man named Zhao Buzhu. Zhao Buzhu initially greeted Chen when he arrived and seemed so friendly and kind, but behind his friendliness, he harbored ill intentions. Zhao Buzhu was considered a genius and everyone spoke highly of him. As we know, Zhao Xian was also praised by many people, but once his cultivation was destroyed, everyone turned on him. From that situation, Chen Pinggan, who was currently taking over Zhao Xian's body, could feel how much pressure Zhao Xian was under. No wonder why he chose to commit suicide. Luckily, there was Zhao Li, who kept encouraging Chen not to pay attention to what people were saying, especially Zhao Buzhu, who turned out to be Zhao Mafan's brother, who was bullying her and Zhao Xian earlier. Mafan was bullying Zhao Xian at Zhao Buzhu's request. Seeing that Zhao Xian or Chen could come to this meeting, but not Mafan, Buzhu thought, what happened to Mafan, where is he? And at that time, Chen began to be suspicious of Buzhu. Chen suspected that Buzhu was the mastermind that caused Zhao Xian to lose his cultivation power. Chen could see that the two of them didn't have a good relationship, considering they were both competing because they were both considered geniuses. However, it seemed that Xian was more genius than Buzhu, so Buzhu used dirty means to defeat Xian. Moments later, the head of the Zhao clan, Zhao Banqiao, came and announced that in a month there would be an appearance of the secret realm. In case you've forgotten what the secret realm is, I'll explain it again. The secret realm is a kind of other dimension that holds many artifacts or treasures. The secret realm had previously appeared in the mortal world and was successfully destroyed by the kitchen knife, and finally Su Ling emerged from the secret realm. In the immortal realm, the secret realm appears very often. It can be once a month or two. In contrast to the mortal world, the secret realm is very rare. The head of Zhao clan then asked all the youths in the Zhao clan to train harder and prepare themselves for the secret realm so that they could increase their cultivation level and be able to explore the secret realm. However, according to Ban Qiao, the secret realm was not really important, because what was more important was that when the secret realm occurred, the new immortal emperor, or Yu Donglai, would be there. So if one of the youths was able to attract Yu Donglai's attention, then there would be a possibility that he would be made a disciple by Yu Donglai. Becoming a disciple of an immortal emperor was something very important, as it could raise the status of the Zhao family name. Moreover, the new immortal emperor was already known for looking for top seeds to train, and he was also known to have brought an ordinary youth from the mortal world to the immortal realm to be personally trained by him. The young man that Yu Donglai brought to the immortal realm was Lu Shuai. Moments later, Ma Fan came in battered. He then reported to his brother Zhao Buzhu and the head of the Zhao clan that he had been beaten by Zhao Xian or Chen Pingon. Buzhu and everyone were all shocked and didn't believe Ma Fan's words, because how could Ma Fan and his friends be defeated by Xian, whose cultivation level was below Ma Fan? They all doubted Ma Fan's words, because all they knew was that Xian's cultivation was currently destroyed. But then Ma Fan explained that he had been tricked by Xian, who said that Xian would give him an artifact, but it was just a trick. For Zhao Xian or Chen Pingon's actions, Buzhu then asked him to take responsibility for what he had done to Ma Fan, but Zhao Xian then explained his reason for beating Ma Fan, because he had bullied Zhao Li and him, so he had no other choice but to deceive Ma Fan. The head of the Zhao clan, Ban Qiao, who heard their conversation, then wondered if it was possible that Xian's cultivation power had returned, because it was impossible for Xian to defeat Ma Fan, whose cultivation level was far above his, and Ban Qiao didn't want to interfere in the dispute between them, because he felt that if it was true, Xian's cultivation had returned, even if only partially, then there was no harm if he supported Xian for the sake of the survival of the Zhao clan, and at Ban Qiao's command, Buzhu and Xian then couldn't refute his order. They finally stopped the dispute between them. Buzhu then wondered if the curse he had placed on Xian had disappeared, causing his cultivation to return, or if there was some other cause that could make Xian able to defeat Ma Fan. From his words, we finally know that Buzhu was indeed the mastermind behind the destruction of Zhao Xian's cultivation. The story then continues to the next scene. This time, Chen went to visit the treasure chamber, a place where he could buy cultivation artifacts or items that could be used to increase his cultivation level, so that he could better control the power of heaven and earth that he had mastered. However, when he was about to enter the treasure chamber, someone forbade Chen from bringing his dog inside, so Chen was forced to leave his dog outside. Moments later, a man named Meng Fanyun also came to the treasure chamber, and he saw the dog at the entrance. The Meng family was a family that was famous for their business of buying and selling beasts. There were many types of beasts in the immortal realm, such as spiritual tigers, firebirds, spiritual beetles, and many more, and they all had various cultivation levels. As a descendant of the Meng family, Fan Yun also had sufficient knowledge of spiritual beasts. When he saw the dog, he was a little confused and wondered why there was an ordinary dog in the immortal realm. Because of his curiosity, he then approached the dog and wanted to pet it, and suddenly the dog released its dragon aura, because it did not want to be petted by Fan Yun. The dog then warned him not to approach it if he still wanted to live, and Fan Yun was very surprised at the words and dragon aura released by the dog, because only a real dragon can release a dragon aura, and a dragon is a top-level creature that can only be tamed by an immortal emperor or someone who has the same strength as an immortal emperor. Fan Yun then thought that perhaps an immortal emperor was visiting the treasure chamber with his dragon or dog, but left it outside because it could not enter the treasure chamber. Moments later, Chen Pingon came and helped Fan Yun to stand up while apologizing to him, as his dog had scared him. Chen then said that his dog was a good dog and had never bitten anyone. Upon learning that the dog was Chen Pingon's pet dog, an ordinary mortal who has only a low cultivation and ordinary level, Fan Yun then concluded that Chen was a mortal who was brought up to the immortal realm by an immortal to be trained. Rumors of a mortal being brought up to the immortal realm had already spread, so Fan Yun came to this conclusion. Afterwards, Chen continued his journey to the battle pool, or the place to compete, on the advice of the people he met in the treasure chamber earlier. The battle pool was where one could obtain immortal crystals quickly. Immortal crystals are the currency used in the immortal realm. Fan Yun, who wanted to get to know Chen more closely, because he thought Chen was a disciple of the immortal emperor, so it was worthy of becoming acquaintances, then he told Chen that he also wanted to go to the battle pool, so he invited Chen to go together. Chen, who did not know what and where the battle pool was, finally agreed to Fan Yun's invitation. The two of them finally walked together to the battle pool. Once they arrived there, Chen then registered himself for the match at the suggestion of Fan Yun, who said the match he would be participating in was a very easy match. However, since there was a difference in the level of power in the immortal realm and the mortal realm, Fan Yun reminded Chen if he was sure about participating in this match, because in the immortal realm, the power was 3 times higher than the power of the mortal realm. He was worried that Chen would be overwhelmed by the match, but Chen was firm in his stance to enter the match. Chen would then fight a demon beast named Sword Tiger, whose cultivation level was 3 levels above him. In the audience seats, Fan Yun and the dog sat together. Fan Yun already knew that the dog was a dragon, so Fan Yun asked the dog if he thought Zhao Xian or Chen could win this match, and the dog replied with great confidence that his master, Chen, would definitely win this match. Hearing the dog call Chen as the master, Fan Yun asked why the dog was calling him by that title. Fan Yun thought that the dog was only lent by the immortal emperor to Zhao Xian, and Zhao Xian was just a disciple of the immortal emperor. To Fan Yun's question, the dog then replied that an immortal emperor wasn't worthy of keeping him. Fan Yun became even more confused after hearing the dog's words. Seeing Fan Yun's confusion, the dog then had an idea to take advantage of him. He would ask Fan Yun for money, considering Fan Yun was a rich man's son. He would later give the money to Chen, because Chen was short of money since he came to the immortal realm. The dog then made up a story, saying that his master had only borrowed Zhao Xian's body, and his real body was currently in the divine world, the world of gods. The Zhao Xian he saw competing was just a piece of his master's body, which was currently doing something in the immortal realm. The dog then told Fan Yun that if he wanted to be someone useful to his master, he should help his master's soul, which was currently in Zhao Xian's body, to earn a lot of money, as they had been short of money since arriving in the immortal realm. Fan Yun was indeed a businessman, who felt that if he could help someone from the divine realm, he would definitely get a lot of luck if he could get close to Chen Pingon. Fan Yun then said he would do everything to help Chen. At the same time, Chen finally defeated Sword Tiger, and seeing Zhao Xian's victory, Fan Yun thought about betting on Chen in the next match. By taking the bet and choosing Zhao Xian, he was sure that he would get double the profit if Zhao Xian won. On the other hand, the match organizer felt aggrieved at Chen's victory, because everyone had bet on the demon beast, and in fact the demon beast was defeated by Zhao Xian or Chen, especially since a moment later, his staff reported that Chen was going to participate in the next match, and asked the branch head of the battle pool, Sun Chen, if he would allow Chen to participate in the next match. Sun Chen then allowed Zhao Xian to participate in the next match, because he would be fielding another demon beast called the Golden Scale Lion, which had dragon blood that was said to be able to defeat someone with the power of an immortal spirit. In addition, there was already someone who bet 100,000 crystals, and if Zhao Xian lost, then he would get all the crystals. Sun Chen was confident that the Golden Scale Lion would be able to kill Zhao Xian. Who had placed that huge bet? That person was none other than Meng Fan Yun, who had even sold his clothes for 20,000 crystals and the additional 80,000 crystals he had brought to buy some materials on his father's orders. The 100,000 crystals were then all put into betting on the match. When everyone saw the Golden Scale Lion enter the sparring arena, everyone thought that Zhao Xian would definitely die. Everyone already knew that if the battle pool staffs brought out the Golden Scale Lion, it would be to kill someone who had harmed them. Upon seeing the Golden Scale Lion, Chen Pingon became very panicked as his sword suddenly broke. The sword Chen used in this match was not his own, but the sword provided by the battle pool. This was probably one of the rules that had been set. Chen then decided to call his dog to the arena. When the Golden Scales Lion confronted the dog, which was already emitting its dragon aura, the Golden Scale Lion immediately bowed and begged for mercy before the dog and begged not to be killed. Chen, who couldn't see his dog's aura, suddenly became very puzzled as to why his opponent would suddenly just give up when his dog hadn't done anything yet and hadn't even turned into a dragon. In short, Golden Lion just gave up and didn't want to continue the match, so the match referee, a hovering ball robot, had to step in and force the Golden Lion to continue the match. The referee said the Golden Lion must not give up. If it did not want to continue the match, then a Golden Lion would be killed. Hearing the referee's words, the Golden Lion was in a dilemma. If it did not fight, it would be killed, and if it fought in the competition, it would also die in the hands of the dog. Finally, the Golden Lion decided to hit its head on the floor forcefully, and finally it fell unconscious. With the Golden Lion falling unconscious, Chen Pingan or Zhao Xian won the match. The audience also began to suspect that Zhao Xian was a master who deliberately hid his identity. The story continued again. After the match was over, Chen was visited by Sun Chen, the branch head of the battle pool. Sun Chen immediately attacked Chen with no warning. Fortunately, the dog and the phoenix bird were there with Chen, and they managed to protect him. Finally, Sun Chen was defeated, but Sun Chen did not want to give up. He then warned Chen not to mess with him, because behind this battle pool there is such strong support, a great immortal. If Chen kills him, then the great immortal will avenge him. Upon hearing that, Sun Chen brought up the name of the great immortal. Suddenly the sword appeared, and said that he also had strength that was not much lower than the great immortal. Sun Chen finally apologized to Chen Pingan, and promised to give up all the bets Chen had won. However, once Chen left, Sun Chen felt he had been humiliated and planned to do something bad to Chen. After the commotion ended, Chen and Fan Yun split the winning crystals they got from the battle pool, but Fan Yun refused all the money Chen gave him, as he only intended to help Chen, in order to be considered to be a meritorious person in Senior Chen's eyes. Fan Yun didn't want to accept Chen's money because he had been told by the dog that Chen or Zhao Xian was a person of great power, and he just wanted to be closer to Chen Pingan. Before Chen went home, Ban Qiao came over to ask if Chen had really come to the treasure chamber to look for something today, because if it was true that Chen or Zhao Xian was looking for something, then he would wholeheartedly help Chen find the item he was looking for, as a form of support to prepare excellent seeds to face the secret realm. Chen then said that he found an item called Immortal Spiritual Bayan in the treasure chamber, or a necklace. However, he couldn't buy it because he was short of 20,000, and asked if the clan chief could buy the necklace for him. The clan chief actually didn't mind buying the necklace for him, but the problem was that the necklace had already been taken by Buju. The clan chief had bought the Immortal Spiritual Bayan for Buju, who also happened to be there, and because this item was a very rare item, Buju was happy to be able to have it in first place. He was very satisfied to have taken the item that Xian really wanted. But Chen would not give up so easily. He then asked Buju if he was willing to sell the necklace to him, and he was ready to pay whatever the price he asked. Even if the price was very expensive, he would pay for it. Buju then said that there was no way Chen could afford it, because he felt Chen must not have that much money. Fan Yun, who was beside Chen, then interrupted Buju. Fan Yun then stated that he would pay the price Buju offered, whatever it was, and as a descendant of the Ming family, who was quite wealthy, he would give the necklace as a gift to Zhao Xian. Buju became shocked at Fan Yun's words, and inwardly he wondered, why would a young master from the Ming family be willing to help Zhao Xian? Could it be that the news of Zhao Xian's cultivation power had returned, already reached the Ming family? Buju became very panicked at that time, and so did the Zhao clan head, Ban Qiao. He was very confused as to why the Ming family, who were notorious for seeking huge profits in business, would voluntarily help Zhao Xian. In the end, Buju said that he wouldn't sell his Immortal Spiritual Bayan because he really needed it. Chen then thought of another way to obtain the Immortal Spiritual Bayan by telling the clan head, Ban Qiao, that if only he could have the Immortal Spiritual Bayan, there was a possibility that his cultivation power could return to normal, and perhaps his power would be even stronger than before. Hearing Zhao Xian's words, the clan chief finally changed his mind. He thought that if Zhao Xian's strength could return to normal, or even become stronger, then it would be very good for the Zhao family. Finally, Ban Qiao persuaded Buju to sell the item to Zhao Xian, because he felt that the item was more important to Zhao Xian than him. Zhao Xian needed it more to restore his shattered cultivation power. Buju ultimately couldn't refuse the request, since it was the clan chief who requested it. He then sold it for 120,000 crystals. Chen was finally able to pay for the item with Meng Fanyun's help. Buju was even more annoyed, and he was currently thinking of another evil strategy to destroy Zhao Xian. The story then moves to the Meng family home. Upon arriving home, Fanyun's father scolded him for using the money he had given him to buy some materials to bet on the battle pool, but Fanyun managed to defuse his father's anger by saying that the money was used to help someone from the divine world who was very powerful. His father told him that Fanyun had done a very good thing, because getting to know someone powerful from the divine world would definitely open up new opportunities for the Ming family. His father then gave another 200,000 crystals to Fanyun to help his senior, Qin Pingan. The story then switched back to the Zhao family residence. At that time, the strongest immortal, called the ancient heavenly immortal emperor, whose name was Chen Yichen, came to the Zhao family home. Chen Yichen was one of the 3 strongest people in the immortal realm, who was also a subordinate of immortal Emperor Sui. Yichen's arrival at the Zhao family home was to look for a cultivator whose strength was still at the Finchen level, who had competed in the battle pool earlier. From Yichen's description, the head of the Zhao clan, Ban Qiao, finally knew that the person Yichen was referring to was Zhao Xian. Ban Qiao then asked Yichen if Zhao Xian had done something so serious that Yichen had to come to his house. Yichen hadn't had time to answer Ban Qiao's question, because suddenly from behind them, there was a sizable fire aura that appeared not far from where they were. The 2 of them then went to the place, and it turned out that the fire aura was issued by Buju. According to Yichen's observations, the aura that Buju had successfully released was called Flame Physique, which was rare enough to occur in the immortal realm. Then Yichen said that Buju had considerable potential. Ban Qiao was very happy when he heard Yichen's words. Then he introduced Buju to Yichen, hoping that Buju could be appointed as one of the immortal emperor's disciples. Buju was very proud of himself. He felt that he was stronger than Zhao Xian. He didn't need to have an immortal spiritual Bayan to be able to awaken the flame physique aura. However, even though Buju had already greeted Yichen, it seemed like Yichen wasn't interested in him, because then Yichen actually asked Ban Qiao to walk him to Zhao Xian's house, and Buju ended up getting annoyed at Yichen's words. He felt like his efforts to bring out the flame physique aura were in vain. Why was it always Zhao Xian that they were looking for? Arriving at Zhao Xian's house, Ban Qiao was still confused as to why Zhao Xian had been visited by a top global immortal. He was still wondering what Zhao Xian had done wrong. Just as Ban Qiao was about to enter the house to call him, Yichen forbade him. According to Yichen, it was very rude of him to enter Zhao Xian's house without permission. Finally, from the front of the house, Yichen asked Zhao Xian for permission before entering his house. Yichen's actions confused Ban Qiao even more. What caused Yichen to be so polite to Zhao Xian? Ban Qiao felt that Zhao Xian had done something wrong, but why was Yichen being so polite? The 2 of them then waited outside for Zhao Xian to come out, but after waiting outside for a long time, Zhao Xian didn't come out, and Yichen wondered if maybe Zhao Xian didn't want to see him. Ban Qiao then said that maybe Zhao Xian wasn't at home, so it wouldn't hurt if they just went inside, but Yichen still concluded that Master Zhao Xian didn't want to see him. In this scene, the way Yichen addressed Zhao Xian was changed. From just Zhao Xian changed to Master. It was because Yichen had previously known about Chen from the information he received from the immortal emperor, stating that there would be a senior from the mortal world that they should respect. This senior usually disguises himself as other people. A more detailed explanation of why Zhao Xian was Yichen's senior, however, had yet to be explained. Finally, Yichen said that his coming to see Master Zhao Xian was to apologize for the incident that happened to him yesterday in the battle pool, and he also said that he had taken care of the person who had made the mistake. Yichen's apology made Ban Qiao very surprised. What exactly was going on? Why would an ancient heavenly immortal emperor like Yichen come here and apologize to Zhao Xian? I will cut the story here, before we continue to the next story, to explain what an immortal emperor is, because as we know there are many immortal emperors in the story. Sui is an immortal emperor, and so is Yichen. The first theory I got from this story is that a person is called immortal emperor if his cultivation level has reached immortal emperor. Yichen is a subordinate of Sui, so we can conclude that Sui has higher strength than Yichen. The second theory is that an immortal emperor is a status like an emperor in the mortal world who leads a region, so it is possible for one emperor to lead many regions simultaneously. The third theory is a combination of the first and second theories, so immortal emperor is a nickname for someone who has a high cultivation level and is also a status. Let's continue the story. When Yi Chen saw that Zhao Xian's house was quite ugly and messy, he told Ban Qiao to treat Zhao Xian with respect because he was the immortal emperor's guest. Before leaving, Yi Chen then told Ban Qiao to keep his coming a secret. If anyone asked, then Ban Qiao could answer that his coming was to see Bu Zhu, who had successfully released the flame physique aura. After Yi Chen's departure, Ban Qiao was still thinking about what was the reason for Yi Chen's act of being so respectful to Zhao Xian like he did to an immortal emperor. What did Zhao Xian have in common with an immortal emperor? Suddenly Ban Qiao remembered something, that Zhao Xian's mother's family name was Yu, the same as the new immortal emperor's name, Yu Donglai. So was there a connection? The story ends here, and we will continue to the next part.